dreads. What's good, everybody? It's Coach Phil with Coach Phil Reacts, and I am back with another video. So this one right here, I was peeping it, getting ready to do my other reactions that are down the line for the week, and this one popped up from the BC line. Shout out to y'all. This is the 2024 offseason interview with defensive coordinator / assistant head coach Ryan Phillips. Y'all know how I feel about RP, man, and I anytime RP speaks, man, I gotta hear it, man. It's something inquisitive about his philosophy, what he thinks, how he runs a defense. I have to listen, and I feel like he's next in line to get a head coaching job at some point in time. Whatever happens with Rick Campbell, whatever, they bump him up at some point over the next couple years, whatever the case may be. When RP speaks, you gotta listen. So I want to hear what he has to say. So we ain't gonna waste no time, y'all. First time to the channel, run over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that jazz. And without any further ado, let's just get into the video and let's listen to RP, y'all.
Have a month to go until we head off to beautiful Kamloops.
All right, let's go back. Wait. Before we even do this, let's just. Okay. Let me just say this before we even let RP speak. I just want to say this: if you from Seattle and RP from the town, whatever, he just got that Seattle dude look, and I've said it before, but this is like that look, that scowl, that. He done kicked it on Yesler a little bit, you know what I'm saying? RP just looked like he ain't got time for the BS. He ain't got time for none of the shenanigans, nothing. He with the shit. RP, if you see this, man, you just have that look. You know what I'm talking. If you know what I'm talking about, right? Like just that. Fuck it. I'm not messing with RP. I'm not messing with this man, but shout out to RP, man. Let's get to it.
Beautiful Kamloops. How much is your excitement once the calendar hits April here?
You know that you're getting down the countdown, right? Closer to the season, closer to having guys coming into camp, enthused about the season. Really more so just enthused about the guys that you're bringing in. It's an exciting time for us to get back to football. See the guys that have been putting in a lot of work in the off season, but also the work that
hopefully they work in the off season.
So I'm excited. It's a new beginning. We're hosting a Grey Cup this year, so it has enough excitement within the city. But regardless of that, I think we're moving in the right direction as an organization and as a team, and I'm excited to see what 2024 brings.
Yeah, expanding on the Grey Cup part of it, it's the goal every year, but obviously you know how special it can be to do it in our own backyard in front of our fans. How much do you preach that to the players coming in here?
I just want them to understand the experience. Something that you can look forward to. Any added incentives, that's definitely something that you want to be able to put to the forefront. It gives those guys another added goal. There's nothing like having a celebration of now being able to be in front of your home fans, in your home stadium, amongst family and so forth. It's one of the greatest experiences that you can have, and I was able and fortunate enough to have that same experience. So for me, it's something that we'll talk about at the beginning of the season. Really won't express it too much during the the bulk of the season, because at that point now we're going to move to week by week progress. But the biggest thing for us is to understand that those things are definitely in our sight, definitely a part of our goal, definitely something we want to accomplish, and do it to the best of our ability.
So I like that he said that we'll talk about it early on, but then once we get into preparing for week one, we ain't gonna talk about it as much. You never want to jinx yourself. I think we've been spoiled a little bit here in the States. When the Rams won their Super Bowl at home, the Buccaneers won at home, it was always that talk of, can anybody ever win at home? The host city of the Super Bowl, can they host it and win it at the same time? So we kind of got a little spoiled back-to-back years of that, but it's more prevalent in the CFL, and it's kind of like, all right, we hosting, that's the expectation, we gonna get there. But there have been teams that have hosted it and they didn't even get there, let alone they got there and they didn't win it. So I like that they're gonna push that and be like, hey, one time we're gonna talk about it and we're gonna just focus on week by week basis. We're gonna do our job and we're gonna attack everything on a case by case basis. So great mindset to have going into the season. And what else can you say about that, man? Great.
Last year set the bar pretty high. 2 shutouts, some amazing individual performances. What do you take from last year and build it toward finishing the job in 2024 and beyond?
Honestly, you take everything. You take the good with the bad. Definitely we had some highlights, and we had some, some glory times and things like that. But you also got to take the bad, and we want to be as consistent as possible, and we want to be noted as the best defense in the league, and we definitely show moments of that, and we want to be consistent, and consistent defense means consistent championships, and that's how I look at it. So, we want to make sure that we start out fast and strong, but at the same extent, we don't want to peak too early.
I want to pose this question to y'all in the comments section. In NFL, let alone, I'd say even CFL, has there really ever been a high-power offense that's won a championship? Don't take too long. Just comment down below. Has there ever been a high-power offense that offense-oriented team won a championship? You need defense. Defense is always gonna, that old saying, offense puts asses in the seats, but defense wins championships. You're gonna need your defense at some point, and it has to be consistent, as RP said. It has to be not just, oh, we got this matchup against Winnipeg, or we got to step up against Saskatchewan, or we got to step up against Ottawa. You can't look from a defensive mindset. Every game is a championship mentality. Even offense, yes, offense is going to do their thing. They're going to try and put points on the board, but they need the if you've got a high-powered offense like BC has the last couple years, where they're putting up crazy numbers, crazy yards, the defense has got to come out there. If you score too fast, there's that old saying, oh, we scored too fast. No, they didn't score too fast. They did their job. Now we got to go out there and do our job, but they be tired. You don't want your defense's backs against the wall where they're gassed, and they got to but you have to see it through. I think with BC, the last 2 years, they've been to the West Final. It's been in Winnipeg, and they play in that cold. There's struggles. Your offense is not going to be able to go out there and just slang rock all the time. You got to have a balance. You got to have your tempo. You got to have little things, your bread and butter, but also mix in certain plays that are going to make you get your yards, get in great field position, put Vernon in position to make plays, get Smoke in the position to score in the run game. And now they got William Stanback, who is a thoroughbred, who's going to pound the rock. He's going to do his thing. So it's shaping up for them the gate is open. The gate is open for them. All they got to do is just step through it. Now, in the Wild Wild West, it's crazy. Okay, I wasn't really thinking that, Kumo D was going to play, but it is what it is. The Wild Wild West. Ugh! Look, in the West, it's a lot of teams have stepped up. There's no sleeper matchups. Everybody got to play each other. What's BC gonna do? Can they get over the hump? And if they see Winnipeg, can they get the home field advantage? That's my biggest thing for BC. Can they secure the home field advantage? Because when they played Winnipeg last season, they dropped the Gravy Bowl. They needed that. They needed that for home field. Now you got the controlled environment. You're playing indoors. It works in your favor a little bit. Maybe it's not too much, but it is. So yeah, that's how I see it.
We want to make sure that we're doing things with an uphill type of mentality, and then once we hit our peak, it's at the right time in the season, and we're doing things that are to the best of our ability to help our team win, and I expect nothing, less of that.
A guy that really was a tone setter for our unit was Matthew Betts. Of course, he's moved on to the Detroit Lions, but whether it's a signing of a Pete Robertson, a guy like Menard stepping in, there's always a few wild cards with some unknown names on the roster, whether it be Americans or draft picks we might add here in a couple weeks. How excited are you to see that void get filled by someone very promising?
Yeah, you got to be excited about the next guy up, right? The next guy that gets a prime opportunity. Matthew Betts is who he is. He's a defensive player of the year. You don't just come in and replace a guy like that, that had that many sacks and just, was disruptive and a focal point of our defense. So you want to find the next guy, and whether that's doing it by a unit or even doing it by one guy, you want to make sure that you try to fit that void as best as possible. And you touched on someone like Pete Robertson, and also a guy like Sione coming back that will have a bigger role as far as that is. So that's the biggest thing for us. We want to make sure we do it as a unit. But, for those guys that are veterans, we want those guys to lead the way, and those guys will have definitely a more prominent role. We expect us to go out there and hit it on all cylinders, and we still expect to be at the top of the league when it comes to sacks and disrupting the quarterback.
So, with Matthew Betts going on to the Detroit Lions, congratulations to him. Number one, he earned that. But I look at it as you get a Pete Robertson, you got Sione, you got a couple other guys, man. Everybody, I like that adds versatility to your defense in certain situations, certain packages, certain things where you're not going to be able to make up for Matthew Betts. That's one person who does a singular thing, and he was the best at it that season. But if you've got Pete Robertson, you got Sione, you got a couple other guys that can come on, you can throw in there. That's 4 different ways of attacking an offense. So you can mix and match in certain places, certain guys, and get different results. Hopefully positive results. That is what a great defensive coordinator wants is, hey, we lose one, but we gained 3, 4. So how are you going to utilize them? How are you going to play them? And can they deliver? Matthew Betts is not walking through that door. Rick Pitino 101.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door.
Next man up. Plain and simple.
Working back here, what excites you most about our linebackers? A solid mix of veteran and youthful energy, guys like Woods and Hladek enjoying career years, and Mr. Lacumbo still going strong, just to name a few guys.
Yeah, versatility. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? You want guys that can, do multiple things. Those guys do everything in the sense of being able to play the pass, play the run, and also they are big contributors even on special teams. Those are things that help you win championships, and those guys aren't afraid to be able to get their nose dirty in that sense. We're only going to be as big as our guys within our unit, and those guys are going to have to be versatile in that sense. So that's the biggest thing for us. How can we make sure that we put guys in position to be successful, use our attributes in that way? Those guys.
I wonder where y'all have heard that before.
Other guys in the league don't have. So we got to make sure we put those guys in position and make sure those guys go out there and make plays. And, after that, let those guys be themselves.
And you're a defensive back at heart, obviously. How excited are you for this group? And maybe how much of a challenge is it going to be replacing TJ's, not only his on-field ability, but his leadership to start the year at least as he continues to recuperate?
Well, leadership is something that you really can't, teach and coach. TJ is just a born leader. He's a guy that is a captain of this football team, not just defensively. A guy that's been in that role now for a number of years. So to try to just replace him, definitely going to be difficult in that sense. Gary Peters has been, a consistent all-star. In my opinion, one of the best in the league at his position, if not the best. So, he definitely have to take on a larger role in the sense of being that vocal leader and a guy that they look up to get guys.
Gary Peters is going to, first of all, I'll run through a damn wall, a tank, whatever, if Gary Peters is speaking to me. If I'm in that huddle, Gary speaks, you shut the fuck up and you do what Gary tells you to fucking do. And I know Gary gonna see this, so shout out to you, Gary, but it's what Gary brings to BC's defense, you can't replace that. TJ Lee, yes, being the vocal leader. TJ know what it is. So in getting him back, and also even Hatch, I feel like Gary, TJ, and Hatch are one person in 3 different bodies. That's me. Their personality, their no bullshit attitude, but the swagger and what they can do. Now, when it comes to Gary, yes, sometimes I feel like Gary gets overlooked. That's just me. I feel like Gary doesn't get the respect that he's due. Because he does it so well and he's done it for a while, you do get overlooked by the new crop of guys. This guy over here, this guy over here, this guy over here. Oh, he's him, he's that, he's Timothy McGillicuddy and all that stuff that they be saying. But you can't match what Gary Peters brings. You understand what I'm saying? Gary is going to do his shit. He's got range. He's got ability. He's disciplined. He's a hitter. He gonna pick him off. He gonna pick you off. He gonna do what he gonna do. But sometimes you can't force somebody to be a vocal leader because it's not natural for them. Everybody leads differently. But I think when Gary speaks, the respect is already there because of what he's done. And if you got a guy that he's telling you, hey, I need you to step up, and you know he's going to do that himself. He's going to step his game up and bring you along with him. Or the expectation is here, meet me there. It's going to be hell.
Guys in the room to make sure we're all on one accord. But, that's why you go out and get guys. Sales and those guys are coming back. But, you sign a person like Deontay Evans, who I have a lot of respect for. A guy that's made plenty of plays amongst the league. A guy that also just won a Grey Cup, so he's bringing Grey Cup experience. And that's what we're trying to get to. So, I'm definitely going to lean on those guys. Those guys are going to definitely have to, do a little bit more than what they probably had to do in the past. But they're all up for it, and I'm excited about what we have to come. And I expect those guys to continuously make plays and celebrate on the field. Saying I'm going to celebrate with them, and we're going to continuously, make sure we have enough highlights to be successful on the field.
All right.
So, what I'm taking from this is they're all in this year. This is the year. This is the third try where they're gonna want to get over the hump, and the extra motivation, obviously, the way it's gonna be portrayed as they're hosting at home, they want to get. Man, every year is like that for every team. I don't care if you host it or not. The expectation is Grey Cup. Now, reality. Let me give you a reality check. For some teams, it's just to break even. Some teams are in it for Grey Cups. Some teams in professional sports, the ownership is in it for $1. I firmly believe that ownership wants to invest in the product. They've done a hell of a job at it, and they went and got pieces. They did lose some pieces that quiet as kept. I was very surprised at, but they're building a core. They've got their quarterback. They went and got another running back to match with Smoke and change the tempo of the run game at times. They did lose Dominic. They did let go of Lucky, but they're not re-signing Lucky. But the offensive pieces are still there, and then they got Hatch coming back. They still got McKinnis. They still got Batman. They got guys, man. It's there. Now the defense. My only thing with the defense with BC, man, is down the stretch in games, can they not rest on their laurels? Can they still bring that energy? It's easy to bring energy when you get a turnover, or you create a turnover, or you get a big sack. No Diddy. But can you keep that energy when the offense is pushing into the end zone and you got to make a stop? Or they're trying to cut the lead and you force them to just kick a field goal and you still got a 4-point lead. Can you play the game?
Time to play the game!
Okay, that too. But still, can they keep that energy? And if they go on the road, when they go to a Winnipeg, can they beat the inclement weather? Can they beat the cold? That theory of, a dome team can't play with a team that plays like for NFL, like in Green Bay or New England, those crazy cold ass games. In BC, they in the dome, they in the BC place. Can they go to Winnipeg? Can they go to Edmonton? Can they go to these cold places where it's cold in the playoffs and win games? That's it. That's how I see it. So I expect RP to step up. I expect the West to be crazy this year. It's going to be a race for home field advantage as usual. And hopefully we see great football from BC. I expect them to be top 3. I expect RP's defense to be top 3 in a lot of categories. And when they get TJ back, they're going to go another level too. I expect the D-line to do their job. I expect the big season from Josh and the LBs. I expect a lot from BC. I really do. Just be consistent. That's all I want to see, man. And so that's going to be it, y'all. Continue to be great. Strive for greatness. All that jazz. Shout out to RP. Shout out to the BC Lions. All the guys on the squad, man. I'm going to see y'all at free agent camp. And yeah. Ain't nothing else to really say. We out of here, y'all.
I'ma tell you the truth.